This weekend, as we gather for worship in this fourth Sunday in Lent, we will hear once again that amazingly beautiful story of the prodigal son, that story of God's amazing grace, the story of how God really sits for eternity, waiting for our return with open arms, waiting for us to come back home into his very heart, where we are safe, where we are loved, and where we find our deepest rest. One of the challenges of that parable, however, is that many of us live life not so much as the son or the daughter who has wandered away from God and squandered all that he or she has been given and comes back. Many of us are more like that brother who stays close to God and then resents God's grace, God's generosity to the brother who returns. I wonder sometimes if those of us who are so close to God share in God's generosity of grace, that in many ways we almost resent it. Those of us who lead good lives, who do the right things, who worship God as we're supposed to worship and say our prayers, and then when we sort of see someone who comes back who has been wayward and wandering for years and years, maybe doing some pretty bad things, deep down inside of us we wonder, is that fair? Is God really fair? And I think that the parable of the prodigal son for us really is an important prayer that we all take deep into our hearts. And that even if we've been that big brother figure in that story, that we still have room to grow. That all of us still have not completely turned our lives around and given our whole hearts to God. Because if that were true, there would be no room for anything else but grace. God's amazing grace of open arms and welcoming lips, forgiving hearts, and love. We'll see you Sunday.